believe in a literal hell. Why I believe in a literal hell. There are literal people in hell. There are real people in hell. We talked about Korah, the man that rebelled against Moses, led a rebellion against the man of God, Moses. He's in hell today. Everybody that is not saved by the grace of God will be turned into hell. That's not talking about wickedness as an idea or wickedness as a philosophy. That is talking about wicked people that die without Christ. They will be turned into hell.
To Pastor Simpson, there is only one way to avoid hell. Have faith in Jesus Christ and hope to be offered God's grace.
The Bible teaches that there is not one good person on the face of this earth. The Bible tells us that we will never, ever, ever be able to be good enough to earn heaven. And so hell is not for bad people. Hell is for people that do not accept Jesus Christ. I feel a very heavy weight of responsibility on me to preach the right message and to confront people with their eternity, because you never know when somebody walks through the doors of your church. You never know if they'll ever be back again.
There is hell fire. There is fire in hell. In Mark chapter number 9, 4 times in talking about hell, he said it's a place where the fire is not quenched. Where the fire is not quenched. There is a literal fire in hell that is burning right now. And you, just a minuscule nothing, just a sinner, just a wicked, awful person trying to make it to heaven on your own right or by your own good deeds, you'll stand before God speechless with nothing to say. And you'll come out of hell and stand before God, and you'll be sentenced to a place called the lake of fire forever and ever and ever.
Year-old Nicky Robinson is used to flirting with death. An experienced skydiver, he has made over 100 successful jumps. But Robinson is unaware that this jump would be different.
I had no idea that my life was about to change forever and it would never be the same.
Just minutes into a routine flight, something goes wrong. The plane's only engine has failed. The aircraft quickly comes crashing to Earth.
The right wing hit this tree, and then the airplane cartwheeled on its wings and impacted the ground belly side up. We hit that tree going 100 miles an hour. My face hit the front of the instrument panel, and so my head stopped my body. I was soaked with gasoline, and I was burning on fire from head to toe.
Burning alive, Robinson is pulled from the wreckage and rushed to the hospital. He barely clings to life.
My face was torn open, and my whole arm was burnt. They cut the remainder of my clothing off, and so I had sustained catastrophic burns over a large portion of my body. They brought in a priest who was there to administer the sacrament of extreme unction or last rites because they figured I was going to die.
With raging fevers and deadly infections consuming his body, Robinson drifts closer and closer to death.
I was racked with pain from the injuries and feeling just this weird sense of life just oozing out of me. And at that time, all of a sudden, the most bizarre thing happened. My spirit went through the bed, and I was like perpendicular to my body. And instantly, I was ejected into a spiritual world. Instantaneously, I knew this spiritual world is the real world. I was traveling. I knew that, and I had no control. And in the distance, there was this bright white light, whiter than the whitest snow and 1,000 times brighter than the sun.
But before he can reach the light, Robinson begins to feel a darker presence.
I felt something on my right side, and as soon as I looked, I saw this blackness. It was blacker than the blackest black. I'm saying that emphatically because I've never seen a blackness like this. I also could feel the very nature of it. It was eternal. It was completely empty and void. It was like an abyss, a bottomless pit. And I instantly knew if a person or a spirit goes in there, they will be separated and cut off for eternity. It is the most horrific, hopeless, terrifying feeling that you can even imagine.
The gaping void of hell grows until it is on the verge of swallowing him whole.
I felt doom. When I was in the darkness, I felt what it would like to be eternally doomed, incarcerated, and it was non-negotiable. There was no turning back.
But at the last moment, Robinson is given a second chance. He is thrown back into his body. When he regains consciousness, he is convinced that he has seen and narrowly escaped the mouth of hell.
There is a hell. It's not only a place, it's a reality. It is absolutely so real that it overwhelms you. This is permanent. This is definitive. You can't rationalize it away.
Welcome to the Sacred Division here on the Para-X Radio Network. Bishop James Long with you.
And this is Francis Etney.
And we are coming live.
James Long is a bishop in the Old Catholic Church and a radio host. Every week, Long and paranormal investigator Francis Etney host a show called The Sacred Division. Long and Etney have come upon a mysterious, murky recording that some claim to be the screaming of tortured souls in hell. And they are going to play it on the air for their listeners.
The Sounds of Hell is an incredible bone-chilling recording. The history is there were some seismologists in Siberia, and they were drilling, and they were dropping mics into the earth. Mm-hmm. And instead of hearing the earth rumbling, what they actually heard were the souls of the damned. And perhaps maybe they even captured the souls being tortured and punished in hell. I want you to listen very carefully to the sounds of hell.
The recording has been denounced as a hoax by some and offered as proof of hell's torments by others.
No matter what anybody thinks about this particular recording, it does force you to think about hell.
For Bishop Long, it's not unimaginable that proof of hell could exist.
I think people are very intrinsically fascinated by the physical proof of the afterlife. I absolutely know that you can communicate with people who've passed on. There's no question about that at all. So, you've heard the recording, and now we want to know what you think, what you believe. Do you think that hell is an actual, real physical place of fire and brimstone? What do you think? Call in right now and let us know. This is Bishop Long and Francis. You're live on the Sacred Division.
I do believe there is a literal place of hell. I have complete faith in the Holy Scripture when it says that there is a place of punishment for weeping and gnashing of teeth. I believe that if there is a place for reward, then there must be a place for punishment.
I would say yes, I do believe in it, that there is a place that it is there, and that it would probably be pain like you've never felt before. It's something that's just so unending that you want to die, but you can't. You're already there.
I have a lot of the traditional beliefs on a physical plane of hell. It would be like a place of pain and torture. It would be more of just the worst thing you could imagine.
All right, thanks, Eric. Thanks, Eric.
To Bishop Long, the calls from his listeners are clear evidence that deep-rooted beliefs in hell's torments endure today.
I think hell exists for those people who choose to deny God's grace. I do not believe that the belief in hell will ever go away. Because I think that the human mind will always know that there are consequences.
According to this doctrine, God selects some for salvation and casts the rest into an eternal fire.
Hell cannot be avoided by doing good works. The Bible is very clear that we are saved by grace. And grace is God giving you something that you do not deserve. That means it's something that you cannot earn.
Satan and his army rebelled against God. They were thrown from heaven into a gigantic chasm underneath the earth. A pit as deep below the earth as heaven was high.
The scale of hell was huge. We're talking about a massive place with millions of lost souls.
For the friar, biblical clues confirm that just below his feet is an ultimate domain of evil, ruled by Satan, where the damned are eternally punished for their sins.
It's kind of like a city that is built underground. This is a horrific kind of city. This is a city of punishment.
4,000 miles beneath the surface, it remains one of our greatest unsolved mysteries. But scientists believe that in the center of the earth, there is a white-hot cauldron of molten iron, 1,400 miles thick, and nearly as hot as the surface of the sun, hot enough to melt steel. To those who believe in hell, this uncertainty of what exists below is evidence that hell is beneath us.
Personally, I believe that hell right now is in the center of the earth. Scientific evidence points toward fire and pressure and extreme temperature in the center of the earth, and it parallels what the Bible has to say about hell.
For believers, the gates of hell link modern mysteries of our planet with ancient mysteries of the afterlife. But today, most people imagine hell not as a fiery realm under the earth, but as a spiritual dimension eternally cut off from God. Even so, what links every interpretation, every sight, every gate is fear.
I think it would be difficult to overestimate how important fear of hell is for some people.
The idea of hell is something that's deep inside of us, and it sort of feeds off of our most primal fears.
When we imagine the afterlife, we don't know really what's going to happen to ourselves. We think about all the potentially horrible things that can happen.
This fear of the unknown connects our modern beliefs with the oldest stories of the underworld.
Different cultures have different names for the place, but I think the similarities between these places really shows our human primal fears.
It's such a human question. That is, what happens when we die? Is that the end of it? Is that all there is?
As old as religion itself is the universal fear that our actions in life will determine our fate after death.